you and I will refuse to die. What does it mean for the social ecosystem? You will have people living not knowing what to do. So I quite see a thing where somebody who has a child of about 8, 9, 10, at the age of 60, will find that she has to sit again for a JEE or a NEET or whatever to retrain, reskill. At 80, you will find you have to live for another 40 years. And there will be greater technology disruptions happening. So again, at the age of 80, you will be carrying a bag and going to school. Retrain, reskill, come out, write exams, competitive exams, get into something. Because there will be fewer jobs, greater money, and the country's business will only be what it ought to be: law and order and healthcare. I think what we see, I'm not trying to be dramatic, but I see this in my crystal ball. And it's quite possible, if you run it past a few pundits, which I am not, may well say it can happen, but they will not say it won't happen. So with those prophetic, as in inverted comma words, where each of you will live beyond 100 and go on to make 120, prepare your wealth to last that many years. So for that, you'll have to work more, learn more, skill yourself more, and most importantly, you'll have greater time on this planet to enjoy your lives. With these concluding happy remarks, let me thank Madras East for this absolutely wonderful opportunity where I've reconnected with several friends and 2 relatives as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, PDG Ganpa, for your inspiring speech on disruption and disappear. We now move on to the Q&A session. From the audience, any questions from the audience? Or from the Zoom platform? Yeah, Revati first. Can we have the mic for Revati?
Thank you. I have 2 questions. One is what you said about the automobile industry versus the IT industry, and you said the automobile industry in the US specifically had a fall because of the IT industry.
No, I didn't say a fall because of IT. I just compared the market caps.
Yeah, so
I merely said that the IT industry has grown much faster.
The growth, I feel that the rate of growth of the automobile industry in the US started to fall way before that. So I don't think it is a comparison.
No, I'm only asking, let me set the context for you. I'm not comparing one to another. I'm only showing that the IT industry is growing exponentially in comparison to the auto industry. Where auto industry hit a stagnation at some point of time and plateaued out, the IT industry has sustained its growth ever since it started growing.
Okay. And the second question to you is, right now there is a huge disparity in what we see in education. There's a group of children privileged enough with all your smart devices, so education becomes easy for them. And there's another group of children who have not even the basics to study. Now, how are we as an economy, how are we as a group of industrialists going to handle this? Because we are going to be left with one group that has no education and one group that has marginally better education. I wouldn't say the best of education, given the situation, but marginally better education. So when it comes to employment, say 15 years later, 10 years later, there is going to be a problem. How are we going to handle that?
It's a great question, Revati, but I can tell you something where technology is being attempted to use. At least I have had several meetings with a government that invited me. I go only where I'm invited. Like Madras East invited, I came. I'm working with the government of Madhya Pradesh. I've had few meetings with their cabinet. I proposed a solution which will by and large address very aggressively your concern. I have suggested to them a preloaded tablet with content. It can open with the Chief Minister's face, because that is mandatory in this country. And then it can have all the content that you have embedded in it. You don't need connectivity. And you can go and upload it, because the Bharat broadband has willy-nilly reached every Zilla Parishad. It's only the last mile that is a problem. All you have to do is to go to the Zilla Parishad and download the content on pre-agreed schedule. But again, to answer you, technology can only provide solutions, but it's eventually up to the government of the day and the people to enforce its adoption. I can tell you, if not because we created it, it's available everywhere. It's just that we have adapted it to Indian conditions, having been pioneers in the space. We have our competitors sitting there, L&T. They heard about it and they're also there. So we hide with each other, staying in the same hotel, but still try to serve the people. See, solutions are there. But the point is, there is a price to pay. What they say in Hindi, कीमत तो है, देना है. So, who is to, now it's all come down to two things. In fact, three. Who will pay for the tablet? Two, who will provide an UPS in the Zilla Parishad? Third, if this happens, what the heck do I do with my largely unemployable teachers, whom I have employed? These are things that companies can't address. Countries have to address, and it's a political call that you have to take. And you have to find resources for it. There are few governments willing to do it. And we have to, see, technology will support addressing the problem to find a solution, but it's not your responsibility and my responsibility to ensure that this is adopted. We can only pray. We can offer the best. Maybe there's something better than the best coming from there. But eventually the governments of the day have to take a call. It is easily addressable. Today, as I said, at the risk of repeating myself, you don't have to go to school. I mean, 2 years have gone by, IIT, nobody has come and they're getting skilled for the next part of the life. So how the heck are they different from all of us who spent 4-5 years there? So I think technology is a replacer and an enabler. But it's, at the end of the day, it's up to us to ensure we adopt it, right? See, Suri provided Sun TV cables outside my house. If I didn't want it, what does he do?
Kalvi TV is something similar which government of Tamil Nadu tried. I think to some extent they are a little successful as far as C category and B category towns are concerned, but definitely a long way to go with respect to.
The AP model is where the student has a clinker. He can stop the teacher in real time. And likewise, the teacher can evaluate you in real time and see if you have understood. So, interactive models are there. And I think we need to move into that quickly.
Any other questions? Yeah, the lady at.
I'm a guest and I really enjoyed today. I have a question. It's very interesting talk. A lot of the...
Would you like to wait for the mic to come? Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. It was a lovely talk, and thanks, Shanta, for inviting me because I enjoyed today's session. My question is that when in a lot of what you said, the references, the research that you referred to were all global level. Most of them American universities, American research houses. Now, the demographic that we are sitting on, which is potentially a huge advantage for us, there is very little research that's been done here for our social context, our background, our challenges, our capabilities. So it's really a question on your advice, where do we go to get that? Like you said, our leaders like Anant at TCS, for example, can give us experience-based input. But the research-based solutions that come from the kind of books that you were referencing and so on, where do we go to get that? How important do you think that is for us now to make sure that we capitalize on what we can get?
Madam, that was the only book I've read in my life. So, but on a different note, let me tell you something. In a globally interconnected world, anybody can access anything, anywhere in real time. So today, any research done anywhere reaches the other end of the world in nanoseconds. So I think access to information is there. And I think India is doing many things right. But the sheer volume of the crisis is daunting. So take America. Ramesh, correct me if I'm wrong, Ramesh. I think America has 4 times the land India has. Correct, Ramesh? 4 times the land India has and 1/4 the population. So these are things.
5 times the land and 4 times.
Okay, 5 times the land and 1/4. He's a real estate guy. He knows. So that's clear. Obviously, should ask him. So it tells you everything. See, our problems are daunting. It will take time. But having said that, I think, if we had not created the IITs, if we had not created the IIMs, if we had not created the public sector which is being put up for sale now, India wouldn't have gotten anywhere. So I think all of us are adults, but I think